Here are 5 easy tips you need to know to go from a noob to a pro in Madden 25 Ultimate Team. Number 1, let's boost up the stats of our entire lineup by just clicking a couple of buttons. Go on over to your lineup screen and scroll on down to the strategy item tab right here. It's going to be located on the left side of your lineup screen. Then once you find that, scroll below the offensive and defensive strategy items until you find the coach strategy item right here. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in Sean McDermott, and this coach is going to be giving me +1 zone coverage to my entire team. Potentially the most important stat on your squad is getting a +1. So every single corner, every single linebacker, every single safety just got a +1 to their zone coverage. And as you guys can see, AJ Terrell goes up to a 92 and Jalen Johnson goes up to a 91. Now what you need to do is you need to buy a coach that gives you one of those boosts. And the way you're going to find that is by going on over to your catalog. I don't want you going to the auction block, go to the catalog, because it's kind of difficult to find these coaches by going to the auction block. Go on over to your catalog, go on over to the strategy tab. And as you guys are going to see right here, when you scroll on down, we're going to start seeing some coaches. So we're going to see a bunch of coaches right here that are giving us multiple boosts to our team. Select the boost that you want and then find the coach by going through and clicking X on it. If I want Sean McDermott, I'm going to click X on him and I'm going to click X to go to the auction block. Now I will say it's pretty difficult to find some of those coaches that give you 2 boosts on the auction block. It is doable though to find some of the coaches that just give you a +1. If you keep on scrolling, you'll see a bunch of stats right here. If you guys want the zone coverage coach, it's Sean McDermott. If you want the man coverage coach, it's Matt Eberflus. And yeah, I think the best way of finding these coaches is by going to your catalog and then clicking X on the auction block. It's very difficult to find these coaches by just going to the block. So use this method to find your coach, buy them, and then put them in your lineup. It's that simple. And again, I bought this Sean McDermott card at 3.5k. He's up for 3.7 right now. It's very inexpensive, and that's +1 zone for 3k. I mean, come on, bro. You need to do this. Tip number 2, before we talk about that, I want to give a shout out to the sponsor of the channel, the #1 partner of the channel, Underdog Fantasy. They're a place where you guys can make higher or lower player picks on NFL games. And instead of picking how well you think a team is going to do or who's going to win, you're picking how well you think players are going to do. So on the screen right here are a couple of my picks for tonight. This one on the screen as an example is for the Monday night game tonight. I think Mahomes isn't going to have a crazy game. Underratedly, the Chiefs have been running the football a ton, so I'm lower on Mahomes. I'm higher on Kareem Hunt. I think they're going to run. I think they're going to be winning. And then the Bucks have no one to throw to. K. Dalton got targeted like 10 times last game. Hopefully he gets 4 catches. And if those picks hit, well, we make about $200. If you watching this video would like to try out some picks, I'm leaving Underdog Fantasy linked down below in the description. After you download the app, if you put in my code, which is the code SWIFT, you're going to get Patrick Mahomes' line set to 0.5 passing yards. That is absolutely free, and that's going to guarantee that you win some money. All right, next up, let's talk about your kicker in this game. Like I said, these aren't just beginner level tips. These are tips that I'm assuming a lot of people might not know about. I want you guys going on over to the most feared program and then filter it down by kickers, because underratedly in here, there's a kicker who #1 has really good stats, but #2 is going to get the most overpowered kicker ability in this game. Jason Sanders, who's 17k, is a must buy. Now, why is this card so good, you might be asking? Well, I'm going to put him in as my starting kicker right here, and I'm going to prove to you why this card is so good. Jason Sanders goes in as kicker #1. He's got 86 kick power, which that already is going to be more kick power than my Jason Elam card. But the reason why this card is so good is because when you go to the upgrade tab and you go on over to the superstar abilities and X Factors, he gets clutch kicker. Now, clutch kicker, if you didn't know, is in my opinion the most important ability to have on your kicker, because what that's going to do is it's going to get rid of the ice kicker effect. Realistically, the biggest pain point with a kicker in this game is the fact that I miss ice kicks. And if you watching this video have missed an ice kick, you know it's the most frustrating thing in this game. And with this clutch kicker ability, well, you don't need to worry about that again. You are not going to be getting iced. If your opponent tries to ice you, it literally will not work. You'll just get to kick the field goal regularly. And this is one of the only kickers in this game that gets clutch kicker. I'm pretty sure it's him and maybe a couple other cards that are very expensive. So we're going through, we're activating that ability, and we're picking up this card for 17k. This is a must buy, boys, and you're going to ensure that you're not missing a clutch kick again. Me personally, I literally missed one in my gameplay yesterday, so it happens often. Make sure you get Jason Sanders. That is a must. This card is a #1 must buy. Tip number 3, let's talk about selling your players at an overpriced number. And the first part of this tip is to sell your cards at whatever their most expensive of their recent sales is. If I'm selling Jamar Chase right here, I'm not going to go through and put him up for 300k. I'm going to put him up for 345k. This is an absolute necessity. That's a difference of 45,000 coins. A lot of the time, people will go through, they'll be impatient, they'll sell their card at 300,000, or they'll put it up for 340, and they'll be like, okay, he's not selling after 10 minutes. I'm going to unpost him and repost him. No, be patient. I am begging you. Put your cards up for the most expensive of the recent sales. And the reason why these cards will will sell at this inflated price is because a lot of the time people are going through on the auction block and they're not filtering down properly at all. Say for example, I wanted to go through, I wanted to find a most feared player. A lot of the time people will just filter it to the program most feared and they'll just buy whatever card they see right here. Let's say for example, we're filtering and we maybe want to find a mid-tier most feared player, say like an 84 overall card. Sometimes this filter will be full, people won't filter it down properly, and they won't see the newest card. Now that unfortunately doesn't work right there because there's not enough most feared players posted up for that example to actually make sense. But a lot of the time what's going to happen when a new program releases is there's going to be too many cards on one filter, meaning people will buy them at unfiltered prices, aka the most expensive of their recent sales, and not buy them at filtered numbers. That's why you can go through and sell cards for 30 or 40k more like Jamar Chase. You guys got to be doing that. Tip number 4, let's save you guys some time while you're playing solo challenges. If you guys are going through and playing any offensive solo in this game and you are about to get into the end zone, I would say if possible, get to the middle of the field and start showboating. That's going to save you about 20 seconds of real life playing time. If you play 100 solos, that's multiple minutes. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, I'm going to go through here. I'm going to throw a quick touchdown pass. I am not going to do any showboating, and I'm going to show you guys exactly what this looks like. We'll throw this over to Jamar Chase. Say, for example, this was a solo that I was grinding. We're going to throw our touchdown pass. Very, very easy. Yada, yada, yada. Jamar Chase, run by your defender, and we're just going to run into the end zone without any showboating. I want you guys to look at what this does right here. We have to go through. We have to pick a celebration animation. We have to watch the celebration animation. The solo's not going to end quickly. It's still not over. It's still loading. He's showboating. He's doing some talking. I'm not really so sure. That took us maybe 20 seconds. Now, example number 2. Let's showboat into the end zone, and I'll show you guys exactly what this looks like right here. For some reason, I don't have a vertical play that I can call, so I'm just going to put a couple guys on streaks. And what you need to do is you need to get to the 10-yard line and be inside of the numbers when you start your showboat. If you're outside of the numbers, it's not going to work. You need to get inside of the numbers before you get to the 10-yard line. I'll show you guys what that looks like really quickly. We're going to throw this to Jalen Hyatt, 92 speed, and we're going to make sure we get inside the numbers. So I'm going to the right and I'm starting showboating at about the 5-yard line, whatever it may be. And look at that. We skip everything. We get to this screen literally instantly. And if I was grinding a solo for passing yards, this would literally make a big difference. Let's say I was grinding this solo over and over again to try and get passing yards for my field pass. Well, we're saving a bunch of time by using this method, a lot of time. Now, again, you gotta be inside the numbers. If I do this outside of the numbers right here, this is not gonna work. A lot of the time, that is not gonna work. Now, it did right there, but a lot of the time, it's not gonna work. It is working more consistently if you are inside the numbers. And I think the reason why that one worked is because we were actually inside the numbers originally. If I threw a streak ball to Jamar Chase right here and we didn't get inside the numbers at all, but we did showboat, I don't think this would work, and I don't think this would skip the animation. So you got to get inside the numbers at some point. I would just get inside the numbers right as you're about to get into the end zone. As you guys can see, we weren't inside the numbers here, and we don't skip anything. We have to wait, we have to wait, we have to wait. So be sure you guys are doing that when you're grounded solos. Now, final thing and quick tip, when you're choosing a user in this game, be sure you do not discount the change in direction stat. In my opinion, change in direction is potentially a top 3 stat on your user. We have this Cam Chancellor card with 85 change in direction, and I honestly feel like that's a little bit low. I've noticed the card is a little bit clunky. Compare that to Isaiah Simmons, who has basically the same stats as Cam. Basically, every single stat is identical, the same speed. The acceleration is a little bit better, but his change of direction is a 92, and this card feels infinitely better as a user. So be sure you're looking at change of direction before you pick your user. That's underratedly a very, very important stat to focus on and just ensure you've got maximized. Don't pick a user with 82 COD. It's too low. Now, that's going to do it for me. If you enjoyed this video and you want to stay up to date with 5 more tips to go from pro to advanced, I will also be making that video. So hit that red subscribe button if you don't want to miss out. And until next time, I'm out. Love y'all. See ya. Peace.